Victor from Hoster, one of the oldest breweries that defunct and came back.
Yep.
And how long have you been here?
I've been here about a year and a half in terms of this reincarnation of it. But the owner's been working on it for about 20 years. When the South High Street location closed down, he thought that was a tragedy for an old time
Oh, yeah.
Columbus brand. And so he basically, I think he bought the brand at that point from the Hoster family. There's still quite a few Hosters around town. He tried to keep the business going on a contract brewing basis, and then 5 years ago decided he really needed to have his own production facility, and that's kind of the beginning of all of this that we've got here.
So I'm going to say the Golden Top tastes a lot better than I remember it.
Okay, thank you.
My mom was a big fan of Hoster back
Okay.
in the 90s.
All right.
So, what inspired you to brew?
I've been a home brewer since 1979.
Nice. The original home brewers.
Probably, yeah. I was old enough to buy. I could buy all the ingredients. So underneath the desk in my dorm, is kind of where my interest got born. And then over the years, I got educated as an engineer, did projects here and there and all over the world really, and quite a bit of time in Europe. And I got used to drinking the local European beers.
The pump in, carbonation, and everything.
That's the English style.
Yeah.
I was always more continental, the German and the Belgian styles.
So the Rheinheiskables.
Exactly. So I kind of got used to that and got exposure to a lot of things that I really, it would have been tough to get exposed to any other way. So I've always been a big fan of beers. I've always enjoyed brewing. As a chemical engineer, is kind of the dream combination of you got to know the technical stuff, but you're going for flavor, which is a little more subjective. So that's been a nice combination of that. And I got more serious about it probably 6 years ago. Came back from a long project, didn't really want to be on the road anymore, said I need to find something else to do. What am I going to do to slide into retirement? And I actually got some professional training in brewing, the brewing technology and the art and science of it from Siebel Institute. So I'm roughly halfway through my training to become a master brewer. The next steps are going to Germany for 3 months. So that's a little more of a stretch to fit that into everything that's going on. But a what? I don't know. That's actually more on the serving side, knowing how to pair and understanding the styles. So this is more the production side type of certificate that I got. So they're a little different in terms of their approach. But no, I don't. I'm aware of the Cicerone. It's a great program. I have not pursued that path.
So did you originally go to college to brew beer?
No, I went to be a chemical engineer.
Okay. What made you want to do that?
I guess because I couldn't really decide on a particular engineering specialty.
And that was like the communications degree, is chemical engineering back then?
Not so much communications, but it was more of the little bit of this, a little bit of that, integrate it.
Did you ever notice people with a communications degree that do not know how to communicate?
Sometimes.
Sorry, I had to ask.
Yeah. It's called irony.
Yeah. So when you see brew systems that they offer today for home brewers, and believe me, I have a few more questions because I know you had a long day.
Oh, no worries.
Do you ever get jealous from what you were brewing on when you first started? Because you guys had it rough in the 70s. You didn't have the Mr. Brewer and the Mr. Beer and all that stuff.
But the thing is, the fancier equipment, you still got to know what to do with it and what to put in it and how to treat the ingredients and the process.
So when you took your brewing classes on how to be a real brewer, I'll say real brewer.
Yeah.
Did it really evolve you as a brewer, or did you always go back to your home brew?
It did in some ways, and in other ways, not as much. You really, in the training, you got exposed to how the big boys do it. So I could walk into a Budweiser factory, a Molson factory, and go, that's this, they're doing this, and kind of understand what the industrial scale equipment and processes are. But as a home brewer and this kind of craft scale brewing, it's really very different. It's not as heavy on equipment. You'd be surprised. It's big equipment, but it's pretty simple equipment.
I've heard that a lot from other brewers. They're like,
Yeah,
you can. They always go, you can go back there and you could probably brew a beer and it would come out decent.
exactly, exactly. The science comes in being able to repeat it next week and a month later and 6 months later,
Consistency.
and kind of knowing. I describe brewing as kind of herding sheep. There's 100 steps to the brewing process, and on any given day, 3 of them are going to go sideways. You don't know which 3.
Yeah.
A pump might break. I've had pumps seize up, and now it's like, well, I got a hot wort over here. I need to move it. My pump just broke. And quickly doing surgery on the pump. You're taking it apart to see what happened.
Does that change the taste of the beer then?
If you can recover on time, and it potentially could, but if you recover on time, it really doesn't affect it.
So what was the beer that it affected that actually made it better?
I can't say I've had an accident make beer better. And I guess I've heard legendary stories of people mess up the
I have
recipe,
too.
and next thing you know, it's Bodie, and it's everybody's favorite double IPA. But I don't. The stories go anyway that wasn't on purpose. That was an accidental. Something happened. Somebody misweighed it or misread something, and next thing you know, you go, "Oh, I really like the taste of that."
Yeah.
I guess I'm more of a technical and very traditional brewer. I'm not going for things that will maybe create that magical aha moment. I'm really trying to nail down the traditional kind of basic styles.
So you're going for basic consistency.
Basic consistency, but my experience in traveling in Europe is the basic stuff really is delicious over there.
Yeah.
So, and like the cold top. I just kegged this today. I'm really enjoying a brand new fresh batch of it. So, is there anything that's going to set, the finale for Red, White, and Boom off by drinking the beer? No, but we're really trying to make a delicious classic style.
It's really something I want to say. I like the gold top. And we came here when this place, I guess when it reopened.
Yep.
Or when it was first on Tap.
Yep.
And I had the gold top. It was good, but it was just there was something a little missing.
Yep.
I've came back 3 times, and every time it gets better.
And that's kind of the science part of it will let you work towards figuring out how to make things a little better.
It gets a little sweeter. It gets less dry.
Yep.
And honestly, I think what you guys have right now, because I had one before we started, I like the gold top. If that was going to be my go-to beer on the 4th of July, the gold top.
Yep.
And if I would buy 12, 24 packs of that and stock that in the fridge.
We're not ready for 24 packs, but you got a keg system at home, we can help you out.
Yeah, I just talked to them about that actually.
Yeah.
When I get through the Gamut stuff, I'm going to be buying a gold top because that is a great Dortmunder.
Yeah.
Now that's another thing. Like when you guys do Dortmunders, your Dortmunder's completely different than what people think a Dortmunder is.
And there's room for some interpretation.
Yeah, you guys have an actual sweeter version of a Dortmunder.
Yeah. A lot of traditional ones, and I think you'll see other ones around town, will have a different approach to what they do in their water chemistry. And so we've kind of made a decided effort to go for delicious.
Do you build the water?
We build and fine tune the water composition.
Okay.
We take tap water. For Gold Top, it's a mixture of RO water and tap water, and then some extra minerals to really fine tune what we want.
RO water is it's a whole different story. I'll tell you that later in private. My daytime job.
Okay.
You kind of sit back and go like, why? Why does it have to be this difficult to make water?
And yet it is.
Yeah.
The light lager is a roughly 3.6%. And again, that one, there's not much to a light lager, so you really have to be careful and precise about what you choose for the water, for the grains, and for the process. So when it's that light, man, you can't. There's
Yeah.
nowhere. There's no way to hide mistakes. Any mistake you can see. So we're pretty excited. That one turned out actually still with some flavor. I don't know if you've tried it yet, but
I haven't tried it. It's not on the
give it a
flight,
shot.
but I am going to try
After
it.
these, it's going to be really really light. But so that's our lightest beer. Um, the favorite.
Well, it's going to be the
It's
gold.
good. It's the Gold Top. It's about 5.5. And then the highest we've had a couple of Belgian beers that were about 9%. We had a triple, so we did a honey rye triple. My wife's a beekeeper, so I used her honey in that batch of beer. So kind of keep it in the family.
That is like a really cool profession though, beekeeping.
It is a challenging little hobby she's got.
How many times you get stoned?
I don't help very much, so for me the number is 0.
So how
But
many
she
times
gets-
have you said, I'm not going to help you with this project?
There are times if she's got a business trip, I've got to cover for something. So yeah, I get suited up. I have my own suit. I go in and get the job done
Smoke the
and get
little
out.
bastards out.
Yeah. So anyway, that beer was about a 9% beer, and then we made a beer to guard. That was on for a while right after we opened up.
Yeah, that's the one that I had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was really good.
That was a happy accident, kind of a beer.
Okay.
Now that you mentioned that, we had made a porter as the previous batch to it, and apparently didn't quite clean out all the grain, the crusher, quite right. And so we're brewing the beer to guard, and why on earth is it so dark? So I think there were a few pounds of the very dark grains left over that snuck into the beer to guard because
But it
turned out good.
yeah, it had that same malty, which was kind of strange.
Would I know how to make it again?
No.
No.
So you just got to make it after the porter.
I'd have to make something sort of close and then throw in too much of the dark grains and see what happens.
So when you got into big scale, and you took one of your original recipes, because obviously some of these are your originals, correct?
Yep.
How much efficiency did you? Well, not efficiency. How much taste did you lose going to a bigger system?
Really, no loss in taste. We definitely gained efficiency. The bigger equipment is more efficient. For some of the beers, there's some processes our big equipment can't do.
Okay.
And like for example, our Hefeweizen right now, we take through a step mash, which helps develop those kind of unique flavors in a Hefeweizen.
And how long does that take?
For basically the different mash takes a few extra hours of work, and then the rest of the fermentation is about the same. But that one, our big equipment, we can't. There's no way to heat it as we go. So on the big equipment, you have a compromise. You have to pick the temperature that you want to, cook at, and you go for there. So some of the smaller specialty things we can do more with, because the one barrel production is kind of the pilot scale.
Yeah.
It's a giant homebrew system,
Yeah.
and you can kind of do anything at that scale. So we've done traditional Czech style decoction mashes to make our Czech Pilsner. We don't have the equipment to do that at bigger scales, so that's a small specialty. The Hefeweizen, we've got the temperature steps that we take. So the big equipment kind of in our case limits us a bit, but that's all right.
So what recipes have you brought to Hosterd? Am I saying that right, Hosterd? Because that's the way I've always been told to say it.
It's Hoster, or some people say Hosters.
Okay.
Most of the stuff you see, like the neon or whatever, is Hosters.
But the reason I say it is because that's the way my mom always told me, but she was always pretty cranked when she told me. She was, it's Hosters! You know? But what recipes have you brought?
it may shock you to hear this, but we really didn't have any original recipes going back in history. When Prohibition hit and they closed for the first time, um, the guy in charge basically just walked away. He says, I can't make beer the way I want to make beer. Prohibition killed us," and he just shut it down cold and walked away. So a lot of history got lost. And then we don't have a lot of exact recipes from the South High Street either.
When we first came here, the manager told us that it was kind of like a touch and go thing.
A little bit, yeah. So we kind of said, okay, we want to make, obviously, Goldtop's the Dortmunder. We basically know what a Dortmunder style is. And then we kind of talked to people and said, well, even within the style, what was it like? What did it taste like? How did it feel to you? And so based on those subjective things, now what do I do with the chemistry?
I don't remember the Gold Top tasting anything like it does today. Of course, I was a kid then with my mom.
Yep.
So I remember like a chalkiness.
That's probably a fair description of it.
Yeah.
The traditional Dortmunder style typically used very high mineral water.
Yeah.
And I think other places around town, you'll see a Dortmunder, they're more that approach of making it.
Yeah.
We said we're going to make it tasty.
Yeah, yours is sweet. It's got a little bit of grain in it, and then on top of it, there's this aftertaste that stays. It's like a corn aftertaste in some ways, like a sweet corn. And to me, like everybody's interpreting it.
There isn't corn in there.
No, there isn't corn in there.
100% barley.
But it does have that really nice sweet corn taste afterwards, and it tastes really good.
Yep.
So,
And some of that is the result of what we decided to do with the water. So
and that's the key to brewing is like your water, cleaning, and ingredients.
Yep.
Yeah. Was it the only way to brew a beer is to learn how to scrub?
Yes, that's about right. 90% of my job is cleaning stuff.
And as a home brewer, when you think about those days as a home brewer and what you're doing now,
Yep.
did you think that you would be in this scale from a home brewer?
Not originally, but I kind of did want to do something other than the previous career stuff. So I really, when I signed up to take the Siebel training, I kind of knew I wanted to head towards something pro. And then it's just, where was that going to be?
Yeah.
I interviewed probably at 8 different breweries around town before this opportunity came up.
Now you also got to work with Buzzsaw's old brewer.
Yeah, Quinn.
Quinn.
Yeah, he was great to work with. Yeah,
No.
he brought in a lot of the Belgian styles, which was an interest of mine anyway. So that worked out to be a really nice combination.
Now he's at Rockmill now.
He is at Rock.
Have you tried their beers yet?
I have, yeah.
It's pretty good. I mean,
I like a lot of them. Yeah.
I find it really hard to believe that Buzzsaw went the way it went because he's a hell of a brewer.
Yeah, he's a great brewer.
Yeah. So
And a great guy to work with. He was
what
great
did
to
you
work
take from him for your Belgian style?
with. Kind of a curiosity. He has a curiosity about the process. He didn't say there's only one way to do it. He basically would take a recipe, make it, taste it, and go, I want a little more this direction. So let's move something, temperatures or something. So it was he was definitely open to experimentation. We tinkered a lot with the process to try to make the process do some of these temperature steps. Because the multiple steps do give you the opportunity to develop different flavors. And we did a lot of tinkering with the equipment as we were getting started up.
Yeah, because he was one of the original brewers for this facility, right?
Yep. Yeah, he joined us 3 months before we opened and then stayed with us till last fall.
Yeah, incredible brewer. You're an incredible brewer also. I want to say I haven't found anything I don't like.
And honestly, to talk about retirement, I found this is a very, very physical job, very tiring. I'm not sure I want to be full-time, and in fact, I'm transitioning out.
Yeah.
So the next brewer behind me is also started as a home brewer and got some professional experience, and now he's joined the team, Andy Rich.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's like everything I've wanted to ask you, I've asked you.
Okay.
The other thing I want to ask you is, what is your favorite brewery besides this one in town that you get inspiration from?
Oh, besides in town.
Because I know, like before the live stream, we were talking about Zavtig and how there's certain breweries that have great histories.
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint because I go to different ones depending on what I want to drink.
Hmm.
I definitely would appreciate the skill of Zoftig and making the really high gravity beers.
And
But
the location is just great.
the location's all right. It's fun to drive up and see the big giant signs over their shoulder. Um, but I go there regularly. I do go to Gamut on a reasonable basis. Um, I go to Rockmill because it's one of the closest ones to where I live. I live way outside Circleville.
Okay.
I go to Ill Mannered from time to time.
You go to Outer Belt?
I not so much, not so much.
Is it the Homestead Heart State deal?
That's a little bit of it, but they don't do a lot of styles that I like particularly.
Okay.
I'm definitely a classic lager Belgian style, and they tend to like doing more IPA things. So for me, it just that's not what I like to drink. Um, I do go to Double Edge because that's also close down in Lancaster. Um,
What's the hidden gem though? What's the one where you go there and you're like, I don't think about beer, I just drink it.
the hidden gem is Hofstra because we're bringing in classic stuff. We don't do anything that's
I love the
fatty.
answer.
We go deep to research what the styles ought to taste like, and we do our best to try to hit those. So you don't have to, I've been at breweries where I've tasted four or five of their light beers in a tasting flight, and honestly, I couldn't tell the five beers apart. This is not here in Columbus. This is somewhere else. But
I've had those in Columbus. So,
yeah,
and you always know which ones. The sad part is when a good brewery goes out, the best is when five bad breweries go out.
in a way, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to see them go, but then you realize like they're just a cheap copy of each other.
Yeah. So we really try to we try really hard to make each beer we make very distinct, so that you can taste it and you go, oh, I know that's this. It's not these other things. Um, so yeah, for me, it's just I go through that beer list every couple of weeks. I've kind of tried different ones depending on what mood I'm in. But yeah, I love the Gold Top, the Viennas.
Vienna Lager. I had that the first time I was here, and that was
Yep.
pretty damn good.
Yep. I'm a huge fan of the Irish Ale.
I got that on my flight. I'm an
Okay.
Irish ale guy.
Okay.
Conway's like 4 or 5 years ago was really good. It's not so good now.
There's a lot of beers that have kind of either simplified or cheapened their recipes. So
I would go with that route because, and
Yeah.
it's always over carbonated now. It always feels like it doesn't matter what temperature, it doesn't matter what CO2 pressure, like the head is just monstrous on it when you're pouring it.
Yeah.
So even out of the bottle, it's like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, that can't be right. And you're right, cheapening the recipe. Like the Elliot Nesser doesn't taste the same. The what is it? The Death of the Edmund Fitzgerald, that doesn't taste the same.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part about big when you upscale.
When you upscale, it's tough to keep the same quality you had when you were little.
Yeah.
Because the equipment kind of dictates and limits what you can do with it.
Well, it's like Rheingeist. Rheingeist has a consistent truth, but everything else is inconsistent. Like the bubble cider never tastes the same. The cheetah never tastes the same.
Yeah.
But then you go to places like Mad Moon and their ciders always taste the same.
Oh, Mad Moon makes great product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter Moon is a great guy also.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's so weird.
We've talked about carrying his ciders here, but we don't have the right license for that.
Yeah, so that's the weird part. How do you feel about ciders being? We just went to a 10 cap, and like he was happy that the brew community actually took him in
Yep.
and said like, hey, we consider you a beer, and he was like, yeah, but unfortunately Ohio considers us a wine.
Right.
So how do you feel about like that type of relationship with like cider houses?
No problem with cider. I've made hard ciders. I drink them. It's just another thing that, depending on what you're looking for, There's nothing better than a hard cider in the summertime.
Do you think they get?
Zen B
Oh yeah, Zimby's
with
good.
their light series of meads.
Do you, do you think that they get screwed for their license and everything
I don't know the legal side of the
of the
licenses for that.
cideries?
Yeah, I don't know.
What were you gonna say, Kelly? And it's gluten free.
Yes.
Yeah. Now you guys also are big on seltzers too.
Yeah, we had made we decided to make it more of a cocktail sort of approach. So it's a little higher ABV, is like 8% alcohol instead of most seltzers 4.5, 5. And that allowed us to do a little mixing with it. So um, the owner of Hoster also owns Cock and Bull Ginger Ale,
Oh, okay.
and that's the classic for the Moscow Mule. So we've been making basically Moscow Mules using our hard seltzer, and those taste really good. So seltzers are easy to make once you figure out the trick, but I'm still 2 steps away from really nailing that down.
So what is the style that you look forward to making?
I like making the basic pilsners, because there's a lot of, even within a pilsner you think, okay, pale, fizzy, bitter, but there's a lot of different opportunity to play with that. Czech pilsner has a very different approach to the German pilsners, and then if you want to do some dry hopping, you get into the Italian pilsners and New Zealand pilsners. So you can do a lot of interesting things, really within a very narrow range of mixes.
Have you thought about a rice pilsner?
A what?
A rice pilsner?
Um, there's actually rice in our light beer, in our light lager, but a true pilsner, I don't use any rice or corn in the pilsners. It's all barley.
Yeah.
We've talked about maybe making a cream ale that would emphasize the corn.
That's really good.
So
You're up my alley right there.
there's a million things you can play with. Um, and one of the challenges of being a brewer is just deciding what you want to do. You could make a different beer every day of your life and not even scratch the surface of the possibility.
So do you have kind of free reign to do that here?
To some extent, yeah. I mean, I want to make, cold
You
top
gotta
a
make
certain
that.
way.
Yeah.
I want to make the light lager a certain way. We might try a light lager made with corn someday just to see what that's like. So we're kind of, I don't know, we every time we research stuff, it sort of narrows where we want to aim. We don't want to just randomly throw stuff in a pot and see what comes out. And the research always kind of ends up focusing you. I want this style, so it kind of points you to
Worms you
a
into-
particular direction.
Gotcha.
And then research on the internet. You have millions of recipes that you can review, and I do that. That's the first thing I start with. I go on the internet and I try to search for who's made this, either the homebrew competitions, and there's a lot of information out there. So I'll look at 10 or 15 different recipes, and I follow some of the YouTube channels for home brewing, just to see what people are up to.
Who do you follow?
He's a little more on the pro side, but I follow Adam Makes Beer. So he's kind of down in the Cincinnati area. He does a really nice job going into a lot of technical detail.
I like when he reviewed the grain. What is it called? The Grain Master. I think was it for the home brewing. And
I didn't see that one.
that was a long time ago. And he
Okay.
literally said, he goes, "This just takes the joy out of brewing,
Yeah.
like because you just do it all in one." He's like, it's not fun.
Yeah.
Like the transfer is what makes it great.
Yeah.
So
But then I follow Brewlosophy.
I've seen Brewer.
I follow David Heath.
Never seen David Heath, but I've heard those like millions of channels quote him.
Yeah. Then I follow a guy does something called Mean Brews, and he kind of analyzes recipes. He'll collect a whole bunch of recipes from either I think a lot of them come out of homebrew competitions. But he'll take the recipes and say, okay, what did people do? It was mostly this kind of grain profile, and it was this kind of hops, and he kind of categorizes all this information. So he's a good starting point. So I can I can look at what he does and say, okay, he finds a really good starting point, and then am I happy with that starting point, or do I want to, play with something? So he's good for that. Who else? I had somebody in mind, and I kind of forgot. I don't know. But there's a lot of different things out there. Oh, Apartment Brewer.
Never seen that one.
Yeah, he does a nice job.
Is it like the Brooklyn Blue Shop people where they come up with these recipes and then like they will literally brew something, taste it, and go, "This was terrible."
I've not. Maybe I haven't seen that one, but I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen that.
When we got into homebrewing, we got a kit from Brooklyn Brew Shop,
Okay.
and then we realized their YouTube channel was like 10 years before they even started the brew shop. And like some of the mistakes that they made along the way is some of the best information because like they literally break
You do
it
learn
down.
from your mistakes.
Yeah, they break it down like, okay, so if we wouldn't have done this, we wouldn't have scorched the grain. If we wouldn't have used like distilled water, it may have turned out a little different,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I like that kind of information. And it sounds like you're in the same boat.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is like, I don't see like gold medals when I get in here, which isn't a bad thing. 'Cause you can literally submit your
Some
beer.
of that is just startup. We
Yeah.
haven't been around very long. The one competition we did medal was in the U.S. Open.
Okay, that's a good one.
For our Belgian double.
And how'd it go?
We got a gold medal for that.
It's not up. I didn't see
I
it.
think it is up.
I may have missed it.
Yeah, it should be hanging kind of on the left side of the
So
bar.
when is the gold top going to be entered?
If it were me, I'd enter that version of it right there.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is that finished? Good.
April 10th, I thought. Yep. Yeah, next week we're opening up. Jay Gilbert was a longtime customer years ago, so we're having a kind of reopening event with them next week.
That's cool.
But yeah, the competitions, they're a little fickle and they're a little tough, and they're expensive to enter, frankly.
Yeah.
GABF is a great competition, but it's $180 an entry. For a startup, that's a little pricey.
Yeah.
So you want to be careful with what you do enter.
So is this the final version of gold top?
It's pretty close. If it's not, we're still. I mean, we have a how shall I say, a vibrant debate over little details about it.
I think that's the best I've ever had of it.
It's. I would say it's. I would agree with you. And part of that is we just brewed that 6-7 weeks ago, and for lager, that's kind of the minimum time frame. I kegged it earlier this afternoon, and here it is. So in terms of freshness, that's really the best you're going to get. So come check us out.
Absolutely. And here's the last question I have for you.
We are very well hidden. We are the hidden gem. Literally, I dare you to find us. We are at 653 North James. Even though we're really off of 7th Avenue, which is off of Stelzer, just south of the airport. Put it in your Google Maps. It will get you here. But we're in a nondescript, I mean, you probably took videos outside, nondescript, light industrial, warehousey kind of a place. You got to want to come here to find us.
You don't have to want to come here. You need to come here.
You need to come here, and then you'll want to come here after that.
Absolutely. And thank you.
You do get to see Elvis.
Yeah, but you also get to see Victor.
Who is apparently a crew fan.
With his hound dog.
With his hound dog.
But Victor, thank you so much for your time.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for coming out and spending the time with us. And
Absolutely.
I've kept you away from tasting your own beers. So
I'll get to them. Trust me.
get to it. And tell us what you think.
I appreciate it.
All righty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks. Oh, yes.
Yep. Thank you. Oh, it went blue.
It went blue.
Hopefully it didn't go bad.
No, it did not. It should not. So, you put that. Oh, I need to go get my drink really quick.
Yeah. I'm sideways here. Hold on. I didn't realize I was sideways. There we go.
There we go.
So, hello, Buckeye Duck 82.
I think that's Merlin.
No, and then Merlin.
Yeah, I think they're the same. I think that's Merlin's because I work with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
And
we
Nate?
had 7 people. Now it's down to 5.
Wow. Well, I hope that was a good interview because Victor was a really nice guy.
I think so.
So on my flight, I have the Vienna. Yeah, the Vienna, the Dunkel, the Irish Ale, and the Irish Stout.
And for me, they did not have any gluten-free options, which they were very nice and cordial to let
Hey,
me
Aaron.
bring,
Hey, Josh.
and let me bring in one of these awesome simply spiked strawberry peach. So you pour on up.
A lot of that was interesting. Oh, thanks, Josh.
That's Gail.
Yeah, the Victor was nice enough to let us interview him. I wanted to do it out of live stream so we could kind of edit it if we needed to. So this is a really cool place, and believe it or not, the gold top is really, really, really good, and the Vienna is really good so far. Of course, I only have it in this, which doesn't count. You have to have it in a full pour, and I got to try the light beer before I get out of here.
Yep. So cheers to Free Your Mind Friday.
Yeah, Free Your Mind Friday.
That was a very
Welcome.
interesting. That was very interesting. What just happened here? And for him, we just walked in and we sat down at the bar. Of course, I reserved the table,
Yeah.
but we just walked in and sat at the bar, and the next thing you know, the nice bartender Alicia was like, "Hey, by the way, our brewer would love to do an interview
Yeah, that
with you."
was
I'm
cool.
like, "Wait a minute. He would love to do an interview with us? We would love to do an interview with him." And I was like, frozen. I'm like, "Josh, can you do the interview?" Because I'm starstruck or
So
something.
2 beers later, I finally got around to like muscling up to do an interview. I apologize if I'm not that good, but I had questions that I honestly wanted to know, and hopefully you guys wanted to know them too. If you guys have questions for any other brewers or any other breweries that you want us to ask them, please let us know. Because like I can only ask so much. Obviously, towards the end of it, Victor's like, "I've been here for a long day. Are you guys done with me?" But he was kind enough with his time, and I really do appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So let's start Free Your Mind Friday.
And by the way, Hoster, where we are at, this picture right here is what it used to look like back in circa 1863 in Columbus. It was one of the first premium beer facilities. And then, like he said, Prohibition came along and they just kind of like threw in the towel and gave it up. Now they're back.
Yeah.
And I am so excited that they are back. The reason why I had to bring my own seltzer in is because they didn't have anything on tap. Yes, they do seltzers, but I gotta wait till next week. So I'll just enjoy this. I
Yeah.
cannot wait to try theirs, though. I will tell you that.
So, what's happened in your week?
You ever heard that song? Work, 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 work. All I do is work, 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 work. That's it.
Yeah, me too.
It's been a busy work week. From, being at the regular work life and then coming home and then helping with the projects we have in the garage or the house or whatnot. It's
Yeah.
been busy.
Yeah, I finally there's an end to this Fat Boy project, and it only cost me was like tons of damage to my hand. Like I felt like I was working on a Honda. It was bad.
How about those storms? You know,
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. I slept through them, so
I had Bo all up on me like, mommy, what is this? So I had to turn the TV on, and my nephew was texting me, lives out in Circleville, and then my brother was texting me from Asheville. So let's just say I didn't get any sleep that night.
I woke up around. I was supposed to get up at 4, but I woke up at 2 a.m. around 2 a.m. and I had Bo shimmering on my side, and I had Luke because I was laying sideways, and I had Bo in a swaddle, and literally Luke was laying on my side, like right here, and he's like breathing in my ear like a I don't know, like a prank caller on a phone or a murderer. And I woke up and I couldn't breathe, and like I'm just like, all right, get off me, everybody, go away. I can't breathe. I felt like George Floyd. I
Oh
did.
no, don't say that.
So
But we're gonna have terrible weather, cold in the 50s, 40s, 50s for like the next 2
how many
weeks.
people are ready for like 65-degree days so you can get on your bike and ride?
Sunny, 65-degree.
I don't care if it's sunny or not.
Yes.
It could be overshadowed. I will get a coat on and ride.
That 80-degree day though, before the storms hit, that was
That was
nice.
nice.
It was way too windy, but it was nice.
And just to let everybody know, they have a Samsung. It looks like a 65-inch TV playing the Munsters. How do you not want to come here? Like I might live here.
You might live here.
Anyways, sorry.
I just like it because Elvis is here.
Yeah,
And they
Elvis
have an old
jukebox.
jukebox, and you can play music off of it. And, I mean, there's
Fun.
a lot of nostalgia here. Like,
Fun fact: when I was a kid, my dad had almost the identical same jukebox that was in my bedroom that he was fixing, and it was literally the same jukebox that Fonzie hit in Happy Days. Yes, Josh, it was a Honda experience. I hate Hondas.
I hate Hondas too.
So,
It's okay.
my phone went off like 10 times while I was.
I was looking online. Actually, Josh was looking online, and he found that Harley Davidson is bringing out a motorcycle called the X500 Scrambler. Now, when he called me and he said, "Hey, Harley's coming out with a Scrambler," I'm like thinking, Ducati's already got a Scrambler. They're known for their Scrambler, and then Yamaha has their XCR Scrambler 950. And now Harley's coming out with a Scrambler.
Yeah.
So Scrambler is always known for the cafe racer style.
No, it's not. It's usually a conversion of off-road. Now let's talk about that for a minute.
Knobby tires and all.
Yeah, knobby tires. Okay. So you look at this photo of their version of a Scrambler. It's not like the Pan America. It's really not. Like the Pan America is what we wanted in 2017 and never got. Instead, it looks like a BMW or a Moto Guzzi.
Moto Guzzi V7 Storm. It is almost identical for it. I think the only difference is, of course, the engine.
Yes.
And the headlight.
It's a liquid cooled 500. Yeah.
That Harley uses, they put a cover on it so you had the black grill going down it.
Which is a BMW.
And Moto Guzzi didn't do that this year.
No.
They actually took that off.
Yeah,
so who stole what?
Yeah, so if Throttle Co., if you guys are watching, Harley is literally trying to get in your backyard to outsell Moto Guzzi because that's what it looks like. It really does.
If you look up a 2026 Harley Davidson X500 Scrambler and a 2025 Moto Guzzi V7 Storm, they are the exact same.
Yeah.
They have the same seat, the same outline. It's knobby tires, the whole 9 yards. Like, it's crazy.
So the other thing is is, have you guys? We do have Harley riders with us. Have you guys noticed when you go to dealerships, the list price and the sell price is kind of in the same ballpark now?
The list price and the sell price?
Yeah, they used to be. It was like a 70 to 80% markup, but
No,
now
it's only like maybe a $1,200 max dollar markup.
yeah, so it's like a 5 to 10% now. So the reason why I bring that up is because that just goes to show how hard Harley is hurting, because these ideas are not working.
They're not working.
And unfortunately, Indian is walking the same path. And it's really sad to see the two oldest American motorcycle companies do what they're doing.
1901 for Indian, 1903 for Harley.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to see that. And they're missing the mark on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Nobody wants a $110,000, $150,000 bike. We want a bike that we can get people to ride, is what we want. So
Yeah, it doesn't
that's
have to
my
be.
feelings on Harley. Now, another thing I've noticed is Hondas and Kawasaki's have gone up in price.
Is it the sport bike,
It's
era?
more than just no, it's just more than sport bikes.
Or is it just those two
They're
particulars?
luxury bikes, like
Oh, like the Vaquero and the Valkyrie and the
yeah, and
all the
and the gold
Vulcans,
wings.
the bigger
No, the
Vulcans.
Vulcans have kind of stayed.
They're like $15,000 bike
No,
though.
they're not. They're like 8 to 9,000.
Are they?
But the Valkyrie has literally gone up. Well, not Valkyrie, but what is it called? The Voyager.
The Voyager.
Yeah, the Voyager has gone up in price
Yeah.
by like 42%, and you're like, what? And it's got the same features from 2023. So it's like, what are you doing, Cowie? And Honda's doing the same thing with the Goldwing, and they're thinking about ending the Goldwing.
That's their staple bike.
It's not their staple bike. Their staple bike is always going to be the CBR 1000
That's
R.
for sport bikes though, but for like a cruiser, they've always been known for their gold.
And
Gold.
I'll give you
gold
the
lager.
Rebel.
A Honda Rebel.
The Rebel.
Well, that's a starter bike. That's not a.
Is it a starter bike? Because
Yes.
you can't get a 700 anymore.
You can never get a 700.
You can't get a 650 either.
It started out as a 250.
It did.
And then just recently, as in like the last less than 10 years, they went to a 500, and now they have.
And you can't get that
And
anymore.
now they have an 1100.
Yeah, you start off at a 900.
So they got rid of the 500 and
Yes.
the 250. Of course, the 250. But
They got rid of the 500. Once
Well-
again, Honda is doing what Harley and Indian are doing.
they're taking away the beginners.
They're taking away the beginners, unfortunately.
It's almost like they're wanting people to get on sport bikes because still the sport bike makers, they still make 350s, 400s, 450s.
And another thing, let's talk about the end of the Goldwing. This could be the end of the Goldwing.
Oh man, that would
Because you got to
suck.
remember, the Goldwing is made in India.
Yeah.
Parts, I think it's still made in India. It might be made in separate, might be made in Japan and India with India parts. But either way, they're thinking about getting rid of that and bringing out a new bike. But what are they going to bring out in place of already a couch on wheels? Let's face it, nobody's going to beat a Goldwing. Okay, I'm not a Honda guy, but a Goldwing. If you're going for like reverse gear and everything, Goldwing. I have friends that live by the Goldwing stand.
Yeah.
That reverse gear is what they love. So
And it's a two-wheel vehicle with
Yeah.
reverse, not a trike or a three-wheel.
no, and it's
Or it's not a Can-Am or anything.
it's really kind of sad because like the Goldwing started in 1977.
It's their longest running bike, right?
No, the Rebel's actually the longest running bike. That started in 1960.
Oh, I thought that one was like.
No, I'm sorry, 1969. The Rebel Cub.
Oh, I thought it was.
Yeah,
like
because
more
it was
like
part of the
late
Cub
70s.
series when they came over.
Okay.
But what's crazy is like it's the longest running bagger. The Electric Glide didn't start until 1969. Then they didn't put one out in 1992 or 1993, somewhere in the 90s. and Indian at that time had dissolved. So
Yeah. Victory was great.
Victory was great. Unfortunately, Victory's gone.
You know, Victory's got a really bad rap right now. People are dissing the Victory, and I'm not understanding why. Because I
Because
thought they
parts
were
are hard to
great.
find.
Well, obsolete. So any of the Harley parts are obsolete from 20 years ago on.
So
I mean, that's
there needs
how
to be
you.
a campaign for Victory. Victory needs to have. We need aftermarket for Victory. Okay, the Victory guys are getting they're getting shit on, and the sad part is those bikes, they probably do have 100,000 miles on them with no work.
Yeah.
They're not bad bikes. Like that was the best Polaris product they put out. The Indians, it is what it is. Clunky.
To each their own, I suppose.
To each their own. Yeah, they're too clunky. They're bulky, but they're granddad bikes.
Some people
okay?
love them. They just can't get
They're
over
for
it.
that. They're for that grandpa that doesn't want the trike. Yeah, they have a reverse gear. So
Did you see the I think BMW has this self leveling bike. And it's a two-wheel bike. And I watched a
Yeah.
video of a 6-year-old getting on this motorcycle. His dad held it up, put the kickstand up, held it up. The little boy got on there, and once he hit the throttle, he let the bike go, and the little boy stayed in first gear, but he drove it around the parking lot seamlessly. And then when he came up and stopped, the bike stayed up because of the
the stabilizer.
The stabilizer kept the bike upright.
No,
And then the dad came and put the kickstand back down, but like the boy was literally on the bike and still for a good few seconds, like longer than like you holding your feet up, and then the bike starts wobbling, you gotta put it down. It was like 10 seconds.
So it's really funny
cool.
you say that. There was a bike. It was before the pandemic. Me and you were looking at. I can't remember the make of the bike, but they literally pioneered those sensors.
So you're talking about the Versus, I think, with the and that's a Kawasaki Versus, I believe it was.
It might have been.
They have a self-stabilizing system
And
on
they
it.
basically took the Tomahawk, which was the Chrysler V10 bike. They took the stabilizer system off of that,
Well,
and
they
kind of beefed it up and made it more modern
Well,
to
no.
what it
What they
is.
did was they put a gyroscope on it, a
That's what the
gyroscopic
Tomahawk had.
system on
Yeah,
it. to
that's what the
where
Tomahawk had.
When you go to lean, the bike knows to lean at a certain angle,
Yeah.
but no farther than that to make the turn.
Yeah, the Tomahawk was.
It's really cool.
That's a bike that doesn't get talked about. It's the Tomahawk.
Tomahawks are.
Well, there's one of five.
I don't want one. I
But-
don't want one. That's like a rocket ship between your thighs.
Yeah, I mean it's 500 horsepower sitting between your legs. So
It's like a rocket ship.
yeah. But anyways, yeah. So they took the gyroscope stabilizer and they did what they did, and they made it better,
Oh,
in my
good.
opinion. But no, like that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. They made it better.
Oh, the
and
Versus, yeah.
Yeah, the Versus.
I think it was the Versus. Pretty sure.
And I'm pretty sure you're correct on that one. It is the Versus, but the stabilizer system is just like the way they made it. The Japanese made it. It was like it was arms,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know, and like in the Tomahawk, it was kind of like in center,
Mm-hmm.
and it had lean sensors.
Yeah.
So,
The Tomahawk really shouldn't be leaning. It should just be on
no,
drag strip. And
the
or
Tomahawk had,
flats.
Tomahawk had like 4 tires, but they were put together like a motorcycle. Like they didn't need a kickstand. So, but it also goes to the gyroscope. So,
Yeah, definitely.
But anyways,
All right. So I heard something happened to WTR today. You called me.
no, you ruined it. You ruined it. You told me that sign was already broken, and I was so happy for my little Ranger.
You can have it because that's actually kind of what's the coincidence, okay?
Okay.
The sign being busted as soon as you're going past it.
Okay, so the deal is I have a Ford Ranger. It's an '04. I've had it for I bought it back for $1. I bought it years ago and I rebought it. I was told it needed something that it didn't need. It actually needed something way more expensive. But anyways, I bought it for $1 back from my dad, and it's in really rough shape. Like it needs painted badly.
Yeah, we'll get there. We will. We'll get there.
And I have a plan for this truck, but we were on our way to Indiana to pick up Harleen, which is if you follow Lucky Hands Garage, you'll see a lot of progress on Instagram with Harleen and where it's at right now. And we drove this beat up Ranger from Indiana all the way back.
And it's a 4-hour trip one way
Yeah, why not? Yeah, Brazil, Indiana.
on the border of Illinois and Indiana.
But either way, so I think the straps we used were like $7 tie downs, and we have this bike that was purchased that probably we shouldn't have bought, but it's gonna be. I hope it's gonna be a good bike.
I'm gonna love it.
And anyways, we bring it back, and we're on our way, and we cross Ohio, and Kelly goes, "I don't know if we're gonna make it. I don't think the Ranger's gonna make it." And I said, "You don't talk about WTR like that." And in my head, like I knew what I meant, but I didn't know it was gonna catch on. And she was like, "Who's WTR?" I was like, "Walker, Texas Ranger." Talking about my Ranger. So she started laughing. I started laughing. And then, like, here we are today, and this happens. I haven't been down Obet's Road and this sign do this, but apparently she has, so she ruined it all for me. And I'm driving to 80 Faro East to pick up a part, which you get scammed at 80 Faro East. I do not recommend it. Go to No Cages. And the sign, I'm approaching it says 45, and then it goes 88. And then I think it said LP, and then it said ER3 or E3, and I'm like, that's right. Walker Texas Ranger's so badass it can't even track its speed. Right. So I call a couple buddies to tell them a joke. They're all laughing stuff, and then I call my wife, and she just completely shuts me down. She goes, "Yeah, the sign's been resetting recently," and I'm like, "Can't give me that one thing." Just one. That's all I wanted was that one thing. Yeah, so that's the story. Like
sorry.
WTR eventually is going to have. It's going to be a Chuck Norris. Like I am going to cram a Godzilla in there, and I don't know if I'm going to reinforce the frame. I might want to twist it up just for fun.
No. You better put something in there.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do, but it's going to be funny. Either way, it's going to be
Throw
funny.
about 10 X's in it.
Yeah, it's going to be funny.
No, you have to.
On my deathbed, somebody has to inherit this truck.
Who do you want? Let's hear it on video right now. This is your will. Who's
Hayden doesn't want it.
Maybe Nick. Nick will probably take it.
Nick will probably take it. And I don't know. Nick will probably.
I don't know. I'll probably drive it though.
Nick will probably be dead before me with the way he is. Like he does crazy stuff too.
Did you see? There's 2 red Ford, same year as yours or same model as yours. 2 red ones in the neighborhood now.
What, Rangers?
Yeah, the same model that you have. There's 2 of them. One down the one way, and when you go the other way, there's one there. I've been seeing them all this week. I don't know where they. Excuse me. I'm not sure where they came from. But now there's 2 red Ford Rangers.
Oh well, mine is gray, red, rust.
We can go get a fender. I know where a great fender is.
Yeah, we can rob it.
Need a new hood?
Need a new hood? I'll rob it.
Aaron, John, I need your help. I need to borrow you guys for like an evening.
I don't know. The only thing I know is I can't wait for it to be done. It's gonna be fun. So when we got here, there was, I don't know if it's still there. There is a VW bus parked out front.
It ain't going anywhere, honey.
No, it is. It was a running bus.
No, I'm telling you, it ain't going anywhere.
And anyways, there is a brick parked underneath or pushed underneath the rear tire, and that's how I knew it was a true Volkswagen from that era. So I sent it to my friend Sean, who was one of the people that taught me in my daytime profession a lot. Um, he just texted me he said, "Now that's my type of wheels," and I said, "Yeah, it's got a brick as a parking brake," and he was like, "Yeah, that's normal. That's how they come."
We're at our hour mark.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't
No,
mean
you're
to run
fine.
over.
You're fine. But yeah, you guys need to come
Check out
enjoy
Hoster.
Hosters.
Yeah.
They are wonderful. They are by the airport. What was that one commercial by the airport?
I don't know.
Being, remember what it was?
No.
Really, he like nerdy guy was like, by the airport.
No. I'm sorry.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I can tell you this though.
Anyways, they're by the airport.
If you guys are looking for like a better interpretation of what I would say Coors is, like 100% better, probably 1,000% better, then check out Hoster. The Gold Top Lager it's really good. It's really incredible. Um, I don't know what else to say. Like every beer that I've had on my flight,
What's the last one that you have there?
it's an Irish dry stout.
Well, take a taste of it and let us know what it
Yeah,
tastes like.
I'm gonna have to because like the last time we did an Irish dry stout,
Oh, it's dry.
yeah, it was awful.
You're gonna have to drink that before you drink that because you're gonna be dry mouth, cotton mouth.
No, I think I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine.
All right.
That's actually pretty good. This brewer has his stuff together. Like it's spectacular
He
beer.
said he was a chemist.
Yeah, I know, and that's strange. So the best thing about like this particular incident is like if I didn't have a microphone on, I would ask him the same exact question. And the reason I say that is because like those are the typical questions I want to know.
Well, like you guys was getting ready to start talking shop, and I was like, "Hold on, let me record." And I was like, "Let's go live."
Well,
Now.
there was stuff we were talking about off camera that I'm not going to disclose. Essentially, it was about some of the breweries that people have, they went from one and went to another and then risen from the ashes and stuff like that. And, because we've been going to breweries for so long since 2017, 2018, 2017, I think, or maybe in 2016, I don't remember. It's been a long time. Like,
2016.
yeah, like we've met so many brewers over the years and we start to see them in other places. And I mean, we went on a double date with one of the brewers, and it's like you're just kind of like in awe, like where they are now and what happened. And when Hoster opened up, uh, Quinn was here, and like he came over, said hi and everything, and told us a story about Buzzsaw, and literally, uh, him and his partner got screwed. But then he's went from here to Rockmill, which is where he should be making Belgian ales and saisons and stuff.
He's good at making those
Yeah,
saisons,
I
those open
mean,
fermentation beers.
He's really good. And this guy's like I learned a lot from Quinn, and he's obviously a lot older, but
Yeah,
that's how good
Quinn's
of
a young guy. He's younger than me,
yeah,
right?
he's like in his I would say his late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah, he's like 20. I think he's 29 now. Maybe
But
he
the
could
other
be
thing
30
is
now.
Victor was like humble enough to go like, yeah, he taught me a lot too. We get that from a lot of brewers. We have never seen a brewer that has been like, yeah, my beer is the best and all that stuff. Like Victor is like, he's a great brewer. I love the beers here. I'm probably gonna have one in my teaser. Most likely, I'm gonna have the Gold Top in my teaser. It's a great beer, but more importantly, you guys need to come out and check it out. These are really good. There's something for everybody, and if you want,
If not, I got you.
well, hopefully the interview went well. Hopefully I didn't make an ass of myself. And hopefully you understand that, like, that's what a brewer does. You know, they look for a style, they try to hit it as best they can, and then they listen to the people. And I think that's what Victor was doing, and that's what brewing's all about. That's what brewing beer is about. You don't cram something down your throat that you don't want.
Yeah.
And that's what commercial breweries do. And when we were talking about Zabtig, Zabtig, if you've tuned into all of our live streams, we always mention Zabtig.
Our first live was at Zaptig.
Yeah, our first live was at Zabtig. It's the big fuck you to Budweiser because it's literally in the backyard. Like, you're literally pulling to the parking lot, Budweiser smokestacks. So, great beers, great brewers, great staff. The other portion of that is you got to try it. You got to go there.
We just went there not too long
I'm a
ago for
Mug
your
Club
birthday,
member.
right?
Yeah, I'm a Mug Club member.
And then how many of those out of how many people came? About 10 people, maybe 10 to 12 people came to your birthday party, and who has not heard
They
about
were-
Zabtig, and then who loved it?
Well, listen, there were 10 of the best people. Okay. And I'm not a big group guy. I'm a very like small orientation. My dad, my son, my nephew, his wife, who created my logo for Lucky Hands, Josh Gale, Nate, John, Bree, Aaron, Jody, my uncle Gary, my aunt Mary. Like, that was enough for me.
Best friend,
Yeah, and of course my best friend Mike. And like, there's
your son and your dad.
I
That
said
was the
son.
best.
I said son and dad.
That's the best.
So it was the best birthday. It really was. And Jack was there, which was awesome because Jack is the best bartender in the world. He's also the best dude. And he's one of my he's a really good friend. And you guys need to check out Zabtig.
Oh, his birthday's coming up too.
It is. But you need to check out Zabtig and you definitely need to check out Hoster. And it is a hidden gem. Sorry. I'm kind of at an angle, and I really don't like that.
You're fine.
But yeah, you need to check it out. It's really awesome. So if you're a commercial beer drinker, come here. You won't be anymore because you will find stuff that's better.
Yep.
And I think that's going to be the end of it, isn't it?
Yeah, we're at a little over an hour, so we got to cut it.
Absolutely. And I got to try the light beer before I go because I promised Victor.
Yes, sir.
So
Thank you, everybody, to all the subscribers. We do appreciate you because without you, there would be no us. Thank you to whoever's watching tonight. This is a big audience, you know, so the numbers are rising. We're doing something good. It's doing something right. So we do appreciate every single one of you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more updates. Share this if you would like, and let's get the word out. All right, spirits, come on now. Free Your Mind Friday. Different brewery every week.
yeah, I don't even know how we're doing this.
I already know who we're going to next week, but I'm not telling.
Well, you're going to tell me because
Not
I'm
loose
confused.
lips, Kelly. I'll tell you later. But yes, until next time, everybody, have a good one. Free Your Mind Friday.
Thanks, Josh. I know we're awesome. We're
Thanks,
not
Aaron.
awesome.
We love you guys.
If you guys have any questions you want to talk to brewers about, and if we get one on again, let me know because I can't come up with everything. See you guys.